Today on A Place of Our Own, say bye-bye to your toddler and hello to your 3-year-old. What you need to know about ages and stages from 3 to 4. Coming up next on A Place of Our Own. Hi, I'm Debbie Gutierrez, and welcome to A Place of Our Own. A Place of Our Own is designed just for you. Parents, grandparents, child care providers, friends, neighbors, anyone who takes care of young children. As you know, every interaction you have with your child is a learning opportunity, so the early years of childhood are very important. Those interactions can help shape the course of your child's development for life, so that's why you are your child's first teacher. Did you know there's a big difference between toddlers and 3-year-olds? With the turbulent years of toddlerhood behind them, 3-year-olds are ready to spread their wings and play. Find out how to encourage your 3-year-old's newfound sense of independence and curiosity on this episode in our continuing series on ages and stages. Plus, Alec Kolkiko has an activity that's sure to engage your 3-year-old. Want to fill us in, Alec?
Today, I'll show you how a paper plate and some simple art materials can promote language.
Thanks, Alec. What you need to know about ages and stages from 3 to 4. That's coming up today on A Place of Our Own.
Exclusive corporate funding for A Place of Our Own is provided by...
Is it possible to have a car and a clean environment? Can solar power become mainstream? Can business be a force for good? We think so, and the people of BP are going beyond petroleum to try.
Major funding is also provided by...
It's just a donut. It's just a donut and some cookies. It's just a donut, cookies, and some soda. But it's not just that. It's obesity, it's type 2 diabetes, it's heart disease, and it's in your hands.
We are your children. We are your future. We are First 5LA champions for our children.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Additional support is provided by the following.
Welcome to A Place of Our Own. I'm Debbie Gutierrez, and today we're sharing important information about the milestones your child should be reaching between the age of 3 and 4. Joining us are Jennifer, Rosa, and Darlene. Hello, ladies.
Hi, Debbie.
Also returning to the show is pediatrician Dr. Leslie Richard. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We based our topic today on this letter from Tammy Buckrista, mom of a 3-year-old, and she writes, Dear Debbie, I have a 3-year-old who seems to want more and more independence. For example, she won't hold my hand when we walk through a crowded mall. Is she growing up too fast, or is this normal at this age? Well, you're our expert. Can you tell us, is this normal at this age, Leslie?
Yes, this is completely normal behavior and behavior you should expect and hope for. I think children who always want to stay next to mom sometimes are a little bit younger, and those who go into the age of 3 really want to be independent and explore. So sometimes moms get a little upset when there's more challenging behavior and they have to follow their kids and chase them. I think we should embrace these behaviors and know that this means my child is developing as they should. So in a mall, you might go at a time when it's not so crowded, when you can actually let your child walk and sort of say, well, look at you. You're going to look at that doll in the doorway or look at windows and talk to them about what they're seeing. So it can be a time that you use to your advantage to help them develop rather than being afraid of it. I think that sometimes parents try to control children in places that they can't always, and sometimes you have to control the total environment, like going at a time when a mall's not as busy, or going with someone else who can follow the child around, and you can do your shopping.
Right. Good advice. Good advice. How about you, Jennifer? You have a 3-year-old?
I do, and this is normal behavior that I've found with my 3-year-old. He just expresses himself all the time, and he does like to do dramatic play at home where he's the teacher, and also he'll have like Buzz Lightyear or one of his other stuffed animals sitting around, and he'll pretend to be doing homework. But he's also done a lot of that to the point of when we're at a park, he'll run off towards the street, and I'll tell him 2 warnings. The 3rd warning we pick up when we go home because he's endangering himself, and I can't have him doing that part.
Right. I used to with my little ones. I would say, sometimes I run across the street. No, Mommy, you can't do that. Well, you better watch me because I might run across the street. Okay, Mommy, I'm watching you. Rosa, how about with your grandchild?
My grandson is just turned 4.
Uh-huh.
And he's very energetic too, and he's gone to the park with me, and he just runs, and it's scary.
Sure it is.
It's scary because you don't know where he's going, so that is scary. But he's also just turned 4, and he's into books, lots of books. I have a little library for him, and he has his favorite, Hansel and Gretel, Pinocchio. He'll just come over and hand me the book. Will you read for me, Grandma? He just loves to be read to. He does.
What other books does he enjoy besides the classic
He
fairy
loves
tales?
Thomas.
Thomas,
Dora
yes.
the Explorer. Anything about Dora is just in there.
That's a good unisex variety, too, in that you're not just giving him the Thomas the Train.
He loves trains and trucks and Dora and Diego. And
what is the big fascination with books at this age, and why is it so important?
Well, because children at this time are developing major leaps in terms of their language development. They're understanding much more, and they're able to express themselves more and use their imagination. And books really key into the imagination. They're stories about things that aren't really happening right in front of you. And children now are cognitively able to understand that something is happening that's separate and different from them, but they can involve themselves in the thought process that they couldn't maybe when they were 2.
Is that why we're seeing a burst of interest in books and dramatic play?
Yes, and actually children are actually able for the first time to put themselves in someone else's shoes, in a sense, to be a fireman, to be the ballerina, to pretend that they're a bear or an animal. That's why songs are so good, why dance classes are pretending to dance with your child. Pretending that you are somebody else is really something that they can't do earlier than this time. It's a major leap both cognitively and also in terms of their language development.
How fun and exciting for us, isn't it?
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Darlene, you have more than one 3-year-old that you're handling. So how does that work?
You will find that your 3-year-olds are very active. They like to play. They like to pretend. Let them do it. You'll find your younger 3-year-old may not do as much as the older 3-year-old. If they want to build, whatever they want to do, let them do it as long as they do it in a safe environment and that they're safe.
How do you make sure that your space is safe? Because before we were talking, you said just as long as it's safe, let them play.
You should always have a play area for them, where things that they can play with. If they want to build, let them build. A lot of them want to build things as high as they are. If they can do it, as long as they're safe, let them do it. It's not going to hurt them.
Now, do you encourage them, if they're building, do you encourage that particular interest?
Yes.
And if they don't show an interest in building, do you introduce it or?
Introduce it or let them do whatever they want to do. Let them do something that they feel more comfortable with. You may find something, like you say, want to read. Let them read. Right. And if they may pretend that they're really reading this book and saying the words, even though those words may not be there, let them pretend. There's nothing wrong with it.
How do you follow your child's interest?
We just encourage him. He wants to do soccer, we allow him to do soccer on the weekends. If we go to the park, he wants to climb, I'll stand behind him until I know he's able to actually do it. Because I actually have an older son, so he wants to do everything that the older one is doing. So I just make sure that he's safe, and I kind of allow him to explore as long as he's not endangering himself or others.
And Rosa's idea with books is great because you can expose them to something without actually have them getting up on a bike or skates, or they can experience
very interested in reading. He'll hand me the book, what he wants, and I can read it to him repeatedly, and he still enjoys it. But he does love to ride his bike around the block.
And you can always find a book that is about bike riding and extend that activity.
One thing about books, too, is a way to find out what their interests are. You'll find that they'll bring you back the same book about dinosaurs over and over.
The time.
Then you may go to the dinosaur museum or talk about what a dinosaur might eat. Or so books really allow them to show their interest to you, and you can expound on them from learning from books.
Well, we're going to discuss this at some more length. If you ladies will stay with us, don't go away. We'll be right back with more on your 3-year-old's development. If you'd like to find out more about ages and stages from 3 to 4, check our web address or call the National Child Care Information Center at 1-800-616-2242. Up next, a peek inside the active world of 3-year-olds. And still to come, the magic of homemade masks. Thanks to a letter from Tammy, we're hearing some important information on ages and stages from 3 to 4. Here's a closer look. Your 3-year-old is no longer a toddler. And what a difference a year has made. He's more talkative, more active, and definitely more independent.
What a cycle! Yeah!
3-year-olds are delightful. They are full of wonder. They are interested in everything and in making sense of the experiences that they've had. The wider world opens up to them, and all of their developing skills help them to access that and to help them make sense of what they're experiencing.
Maya Jackson, mother of preschooler Janicia, says her daughter's desire to be independent really emerged after she turned 3.
Now come down the slide. Let me tickle you when you go down. Yeah, come on. Okay, go. Go. I got you anyway. When my daughter turned 3, she became very independent. She wanted to do things on her own. Her personality just expanded. She became more mature.
3-year-olds love to move. They're a lot more coordinated, so they can throw balls further and ride tricycles on their own. They're also constantly challenging themselves to do more.
A typical 3-year-old is a child who just discovered he's able to balance, who's able to stand on one leg and hop or jump, able to grip, to use equipment outside like balls. They're able to kick and catch.
3-year-olds are developing rapidly in both their gross motor movement and in their fine motor movement. They're becoming taller and a little less top-heavy, and they have greater control over their bodies.
Look at the back over. The back over.
When your child becomes 3, he's also developing more control of his fine motor skills.
All of the activities that children do using their small muscles in their hands and in their fingers help them to do things that adults might have helped them do before. So children doing puzzles or holding crayons, building with Legos and other kinds of small manipulative materials help them do things by themselves that adults might have done for them previously.
What's your name?
Everett.
How old are you, Edward?
3.
3. Good.
That's almost 4.
You're almost 4. Yes. Good.
You'll also find that your 3-year-old is becoming more independent and proud of his accomplishments.
They're developing their own sense of identity, who they are. One of the ways that they show that is by saying their names, telling how old they are. I mean, that's their own sense of who they are at this point. And they're also realizing that their own skills, help them become part of the larger world.
Between the ages of 3 and 4, your child's cognitive skills continue to develop. They become more curious, become better at problem solving, and show greater persistence.
Slippery fish swimming in the ocean.
They're able to sit and attend to things for a longer period of time, but they still have relatively short attention spans.
I'm making dinner a cheeseburger.
3-year-olds use dramatic play to strengthen their understanding about the world around them.
I'm making spaghetti.
3-year-olds all have experiences in a family setting, and they're very interested in the roles that adults play and how materials are used in homes, and that often comes out in their dramatic play. So they use the kinds of things that are available in homes, simple props, to reenact or recreate the kinds of things that they have seen adults do and the kinds of things they're experiencing.
Your 3-year-old's developing social and language skills enable him to play with others. And this group play promotes even further social development.
No! My turn!
Even though 3-year-olds are more mature than 2-year-olds, they're still relatively egocentric. And while they enjoy playing with others and can do so for brief periods of time, they may still not cooperate or share as well as they will, as 4-year-olds will.
Bat salad. I want to make bat salad. No, I'm the one who knows how to make bat salad. So I'm the one who can do it.
3-year-olds are also rapidly developing language and communication skills.
When Papa buys some pizza. We ate it.
They are better able to initiate conversations on their own and to talk about things that they're interested in. They usually will speak in complete sentences, though they're short sentences. They can ask questions, who, what, where, why questions, and often they ask a lot of why questions because they're so curious in the world around them.
Children this age love to rhyme and repeat silly songs.
Black sheep, have you any more?
They're interested in simple songs and rhymes. They enjoy hearing the patterns of language and the rhythm that is part of the songs and the language that they hear in rhymes.
You can encourage your 3-year-old's development by talking to him at every opportunity, reading to him every day, and providing plenty of open-ended activities.
Bye, Jordan.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye. See you later.
I love you.
That really shows that he's ready to be independent by saying goodbye in such a vigorous way. Goodbye, I gotta go play. I have to go. Each child is unique.
Yes.
How do we find their interests and bring them out?
Well, the best way is to follow their lead and actually get down on the floor and play with them. Some children really like to build. Others will want to do more gross motor play, climbing and running. Others want to hear stories or make stories or write. I think we encourage their development by following their lead and then expounding on it a little bit more. So taking them out in the community is a great thing. A child who loves animals going to a park where there are ducks and fish and frogs, or going to the zoo, going to visit someone's home who has a lot of animals. All of those things encourage their development.
And this really is the age where you start to see individuality come out? Yes? Darlene, do you have...
You really, really do, such as taking them for a walk. One may say the house is yellow, one might say it's white. They're going to express whatever they see and let them do it, but even do it in a way that you can correct them and let them know the right colors.
Right.
And I really like to see them put their shoes on because they may have them on the wrong feet, but they really feel they're right. And you can say, oh, this shoe's, that's wrong. And then, no, that's my right foot and that's my left foot. And they're just so curious at that time, too.
Right. Leslie, we were talking about how milestones for other age groups are sitting up, crawling, walking. What are the milestones for this particular age? And if you don't see them getting to these milestones, what should we do?
Well, in this age, there's really more of a continuum of behavior and expression. So you're looking for more language development. Children need to be having conversations with you now. They may not be long conversations, but being able to have an exchange back and forth, talking. So if your child is not interested in talking or isn't seeming to talk quite as much or as clearly as children you see his age, then you may want to get some opinion from your pediatrician or from a preschool teacher or someone else in your life. The other thing is the ability to have pretend play. That's a very, very important thing. To be able to go in the kitchen and cook, as we saw in the video, to pretend that you're the fireman, and that's important. And some children don't have pretend play, and those children we tend to be very concerned about. So if your child is not interested in pretending, in imitating you, sweeping or cooking or any of those things, you would want to talk to someone else about it.
Very good for our viewers to know, because those are milestones that we don't always see as being milestones, but are very important for us to observe. As we've discovered, this is a stage of great exploration. Here's a recap of what we've learned. First, although each child is unique, particular milestones do indicate healthy development. Next, be sure to allow safe exploration and play, because 3-year-olds love to explore the world on their own. Talk frequently with your child and share books together. Their growing cognitive abilities are expressed through language and pretend play. And finally, follow your child's lead by responding to his interests and growing abilities. Remember, each child develops at his own rate, and there may be big differences from one child to another. If you have any concerns about your child's development, you should contact your pediatrician. If you'd like to find out more about ages and stages from 3 to 4, check our website, or write us at A Place of Our Own, KCET Television, 4401 Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90027. Don't go away. There's lots more coming up on A Place of Our Own. Coming up next, discover how homemade masks can take dramatic play to a whole new level. Today we're talking about your child's development between 3 and 4. And Alec Kolkiko is here with a really creative idea. Hi, Alec.
Hi, Debbie.
You heard us talking about the milestones of kids from ages 3 to 4. Yes. And they're fun milestones to look for. So you brought a fun activity for us.
Homemade masks.
And how does this help our 3 and 4-year-olds?
Oh my goodness. You guys talk so much about imagination. This really fuels imagination because not only are kids getting the opportunity to make a mask and play with it, they are also going to be engaged on several different levels of using their imagination abilities. This is an opportunity for children to really, dive into their minds and become whatever they want to become with these masks. It could be something or someone. Also creativity. They're going to make these masks in any way they want to. We have a variety out here, and
we sure do.
When you give them an array of materials, they're going to create whatever they like. So
and
that's
you
a
let
nice
them.
piece. Oh yes, definitely, because each child is unique, and they're going to use their own creative abilities to create the mask. And then lastly, there's language development because children are going to be interacting with one another, with the adult or provider. They're going to be building on their language skills constantly. So this is a wonderful activity for language development.
Terrific. Now, what materials do we need?
All you need are some paper plates, and you want to kind of get the flimsy ones.
I never saw the little
because they're
teeny.
nice and bendable. Yeah, so get the small ones and the big ones. And also you need some rubber bands.
Okay.
And you need just a variety of materials. You can get materials from your home, like pieces of cloth, or you can go to an arts and crafts store and get like feathers and things of that nature.
And again, we appeal to parents if your child is going to a care center. If you have a roll of ribbon or you have some feathers, they're always welcome.
That's right.
So how do we begin to make our masks? I did have some questions.
Okay, well, you want to start with, with your plate. Cut out the eyes and the nose and the mouth first, and then have your plates, we've gotten really creative and just kind of cut around the plate. So have that already ready to go. You can create them in a variety of different ways, and then you want to put them out for children to choose. But once you've done that, you're going to put holes on the sides of the plate, and then we've also put rubber bands on the sides just to make it a little bit more elastic. Have it more bendable. Yeah. So then we wrap the rubber band inside and then use string to wrap onto the rubber band so that can tie around the child's head.
I see. Oh, how fun. And what kind of things do you see happen when a child puts a mask on?
Oh, my goodness.
Put a mask on.
I've seen children become objects such as a truck. I've seen them become other people. I've seen them become animals. So, it's just a wide range of things. And it's not just, it's something different every 5 minutes. They could be a truck for like 2 minutes, and then they may be, their grandmother or grandfather or somebody like that, 5 minutes later.
And what kind of language do you hear as they're using the masks?
Oh, well, depending on what they're deciding to become, they're going to use all sorts of language, and you can add to that. It looks like you're becoming this, and, what sounds does a lion make, and, how does a lion walk, and then you're just going to engage them in that conversation, so you have a back and forth conversation about that.
Now, this is particularly good for 3-year-olds, and you would start it at 3 and not before because...
Not before because children, I'm... Even thinking about my son at 2 years old, a mask can be very scary.
Right.
And they don't, cognitively, they're not ready for that. So definitely start at 3. That's when those imaginations are, going alive, and they're ready for that.
They're ready to embrace it and have a good time with it. Terrific. Well, thank you again for such a nice, wonderful project. We appreciate that. What a terrific activity. Here's how making and wearing homemade masks can further your 3-year-old's development. First, when kids engage in pretend play with masks, they're developing their imagination. By allowing your children the freedom to create their masks however they want, your kids are expanding their creativity. And finally, playing with the masks enhances language development. As your children are pretending, they're using new words and developing their vocabulary. We learned a lot today. If you want more information on how to make homemade masks or ages and stages from 3 to 4, check our website or write us with a self-addressed stamped envelope at A Place of Our Own, KCT Television, 4401 Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90027. Remember, today's letter came from Tammy, so keep those letters, emails, and ideas coming. Thanks to our friends Darlene, Rosa, Jennifer, Leslie, Alec, and all the kids. But most of all, thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow on A Place of Our Own. And remember, you are your child's first teacher.
Exclusive corporate funding for A Place of Our Own is provided by...
Is it possible to have a car and a clean environment? Can solar power become mainstream? Can business be a force for good? We think so. And the people of BP are going beyond petroleum to try.
Major funding is also provided by...
It's just a donut. It's just a donut and some cookies. It's just a donut, cookies, and some soda. But it's not just that. It's obesity, it's type 2 diabetes, it's heart disease, and it's in your hands.
We are your children. We are your future. We are First Father Lake champions for our children.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Additional support is provided by the following.
We are PBS.
Today on A Place of Our Own, what you should know about how kids react to traumatic events. Whether it's a TV news story about a natural disaster or a situation closer to home. Helping your child cope, next on A Place of Our Own. Hi, I'm Debbie Gutierrez, and welcome to A Place of Our Own. A Place of Our Own is designed just for you. Parents, grandparents, child care providers, babysitters, anyone who takes care of young children. As you know, the early years of childhood are so important. Every interaction you have with your child during these years is a learning opportunity that actually helps shape the course of your child's development for life. In fact, you may not realize it, but you are your child's first teacher. In today's world, children often experience life-changing situations, from natural disasters like an earthquake or hurricane to personal traumas like divorce or moving. No matter the situation, young children need tremendous support in dealing with trauma, as well as opportunities to express their feelings. On today's show, we'll learn how to create a nurturing and reassuring environment to help your child cope with traumatic events. Helping your child cope with traumatic events. That's our topic today on A Place of Our Own.
Exclusive corporate funding for A Place of Our Own is provided by...
Is it possible to have a car and a clean environment? Can solar power become mainstream? Can business be a force for good? We think so, and the people of BP are going beyond petroleum to try.
Major funding is also provided by...
It's just a donut. It's just a donut and some cookies. It's just a donut, cookies, and some soda. But it's not just that. It's obesity, it's type 2 diabetes, it's heart disease, and it's in your hands.
We are your children. We are your future. We are First 5 Lake champions for our children.